Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm coming to you from my log barn on this 10th day of February 2020. And I'm accompanied by a live accompaniment of peeper frogs. Hear them? Hope you hear that. And by the way, I do have a video of 9 hours of peepers. Really strange and really going on in China. And what is it? What is happening? You know, I'm hearing rumors of 100 to maybe even one source claiming 400 million people on lockdown and quarantine in China. And these stories are just wild. Now, this morning I had a gentleman I met at LeakCon, whom I consider a friend, a very smart guy who's got another channel called Adapt 2030. If you've not subscribed to Adapt 2030, check it out. David Devine. David Devine is a really nice guy, really smart fellow. He has lived in China. He's lived in, most recently, he was living in Taipei. And he managed to get out of there. Well, fortunately, where he was at, they weren't permitting any Chinese in their country because of a political spat for the duration of this outbreak of the coronavirus. So he should be safe, but he is going into self-quarantine. He lives in East Tennessee. So he's come back home. And he actually contacted me this morning suggesting that he wants to come on the channel and let's do a live podcast together. Well, a podcast, not from my end, a live podcast from my computer like I would do with him. I would actually have to record it, wouldn't be live, and play it back later unless I subscribe to the later version of Zoom, and I don't know if I got time to set all that up and mess with it, and I got to see what it costs. All that good happy stuff. But anyway, all that aside, so we don't want to have a lot of stuff come up on this channel. Hopefully, David Devine. I do have scheduled Command Sergeant Major Mike Maybe for Wednesday. I'm going to video him, and I should post that one most likely on. I might go live if I get the new Zoom, but probably be posting that Thursday afternoon, because Thursday afternoon around 5-ish is actually the best time to post on YouTube, and I would consider that my premiere video for the weekend. I've also filmed video and haven't edited it on my blowguns. Everybody's asking me to do a blowgun video, and I'm not practiced with them in a couple of years, so I took my small bore blowguns and I got a new blowgun, a large bore blowgun. And this is the first time I was actually shooting it. So you'll get to see that. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And it'll be all about silent hunting. So you can slip amongst these peeper frogs and not be seen or heard. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Click the update notification bell. Check all. And to support my channel, please click the links below. I sell worms. Sell them year round. Right now, I am flooded. It is actually hard to harvest them right now. I'm flooded and orders are shooting up. So that, and hey, with all the stuff going on in the world right now, with this 2020's rocking the way they are, you better consider prepping. Check out my Patriot Supply, links below, and you better also consider growing your own food. And you may have to grow indoors with the craziness in the climate and everything going on, especially if you get quarantined, like we're about to talk about. If you get quarantined, you're going to wish you were growing indoors and had your own green leafy stuff growing, and you're going to need a strong immune system. And microgreens give you, some of them have up to 40 times more nutritive I should say, than the regular size vegetable. It's crazy, but that's the case, and there's studies on that. So it's a good deal. So check out Tree Leaf Market below. Well, I won't have those links up yet, but they're also on my other channels. I'll put them in later. All right, all that said, so what's going on? All these people in quarantine. Now, one thing, David Devine, he went on the Oppenheimer research project with him and Dr. Paul Cottrell last night. You can check that video out if you haven't already done it. And he was telling us a lot of amazing things about what's going on in China. He was telling us that people are being locked in their houses, or alternately, actually, I got that from another source. He said people were being pulled out of their homes. And not only that, but the locals were firebombing those houses with Molotov cocktails because they're so scared of the virus. When you consider all the people in quarantine, when you consider all of the people that are locked down, all the industries that are being shut down, all the billions of dollars in revenue that China's losing, the disruption of the global supply chain that will result from all the parts and pieces that are not available. Holy smoke, my friends. This is nuts. I'm going to get into the comments here in a little bit. I just want to talk a little bit first. This is insane. If, according to the John Hopkins website that's out there, there's now over 40, I believe 41,000 cases confirmed. And there's just now over 1,000 confirmed dead. There's also a cruise ship, the Diamond Princess. The Diamond Princess, it's docked in Japan, and it has 3,800 people on board. And last numbers I saw was that there was over 300 people now on that ship that has been confirmed to have the virus, and 24 of them are Americans. And supposedly they only tested 420 something. If you're not showing symptoms, they're not testing you because they claim they have the money. Well, if they can't be testing everybody, who's to say China's testing everybody? I've heard rumors that China was only testing people who confirmed sick. So the numbers in China may be skewed. That has two different meanings. It might mean that on one hand, there's a whole lot more people infected, and some people say a whole lot more people are dying. But on the other hand, it may also mean the fatality rate is lower, providing some of the other rumors here is not true. I mean, the rumors coming out of China are just off the charts. Really off the charts. So, we're hearing, some people say that they're burning 1,000 or over 1,000 bodies an hour or a day, depending on what you hear in crematoriums. It's just totally off the charts, the things that are being claimed. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what's being claimed. But in any event, what we do know is that they are actually locking people into their homes and pulling other people out of their homes. So one of the things that defines, well, I'll get into that in a moment. There may be other purposes, and I'm going to hold that for last as to what might be driving this, because it don't make sense, guys, to totally shut down tens of millions people, maybe 100 million, 400 million. Some people are talking population bigger than the United States, to quarantine them for something that has only maybe a 1% fatality rate, possibly. For something that, this thing is apparently very contagious. Apparently has an R value, an R0 of greater than 4. I mean, that's indicative of what's happening on that cruise ship. If you've got over 300 people infected on the cruise ship of 3,800, when they got everybody locked in the rooms, something's amiss, something's afoot. That stuff is spreading. 24 Americans. Well, the good news is that it's said that the symptoms are typically mild, like mild cold, in 80% of the cases, and that in 15% of the cases, though, you get pneumonia, and in maybe 3 to 5% of the cases, it's severe, in which you're going to the hospital, and out of that, 20% of them may be fatal, but that could get you back to having a CFR, the case fatality rate of 1%. Some people are saying it's more. The data just isn't there to really back this up, because we don't know how they test, who they're testing, where they're testing. A lot of people claim they're only testing the ones that come in the hospital. The ones that come in the hospital are the sickest. Well, the country the size of China, when you just got a few hospitals with 1,000 beds and you're building as fast as you go, you can see how a system like that would get oversaturated in a hurry. Same way here. The hospitals can't take the kinds of population with that number of people sick, even if the numbers are that low. So now some people are saying this is like the flu, even if it's not, because it's still 10 to 20 times higher fatality rate than the flu. It's still far more contagious than the flu, and it still has other symptoms. So to claim that it's like the flu is a bit of a misnomer. But still, if all these numbers are true, and I do put a big, big, big if out there, it's a mighty large, small word, then why is China reacting the way they're reacting? What is going on for Sam Hill? I mean, a couple other data points you need to know, though. This is what's scary. The incubation, now this is according to Chinese researchers, and those numbers are percentages come from Chinese researchers, if you can take their numbers at face value. So some people are telling us and then from these Chinese researchers, they're now saying the incubation period could be 24 days. 24 days. And they're saying that this stuff can live on the surfaces of objects, that the sneeze particles or somebody touches when they touch other surfaces, for up to 9 days. So if you're going through an airport, my friends, and you're sharing and touching all these surfaces that everybody else touches, and the bags they put all their baggage and luggage through, going through the system. You're going through the touching door handles and sitting in the seats. My friends, a lot of people go through there. A lot of people are going through those systems, and it's possible that 9 days is the length this stuff could be effective. You better try to stay out of places where there are a lot of people. Stay out of cruise ships. Don't be going to big sporting events. And for Pete's sake, as I've always said, hygiene. That's the biggest thing you got on your side. The biggest thing in your favor is hygiene. Don't be putting your finger to your nose and eyes and mouth and ears. And maybe that's the biggest reason to wear a face mask, is to keep you from doing that, to remind you not to do that. I would go one further. Develop a protocol in your life, just a way of living and a way of doing. This is what I do. And I don't get sick. One time I got sick when I was dating a girlfriend who got sick like every other month. And so by proximity, I just caught it. But she had some kind of immune system problem. But other than that, I haven't had a flu in 20-something years. Why? Because I don't grab everything. I don't touch everything. Those little pins you got to sign in the store, I won't pick one up. If they force, I even don't even shop at Home Depot because they force you to do that. And believe you me, I buy tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff at Lowe's, like all the plywood and the ceiling in this barn. Now those 2 buys came from lumber milled on my property here, as these logs did. They came from my property here. But I buy a lot of stuff from Lowe's. Lowe's gets a lot of business from me. Why? I started going there because of Home Depot, where I used to go to. They made me use those little pins. And other places where I have to, I use a shopping bag or something else. I don't touch the things. I wash my hands a lot. I try to keep my fingers out of my eyes, ears, and nose and such as that when I'm out. So these are lifestyle habits that you need to acquire. Don't touch the handles in the bathroom. Use a towel. Anywhere you're touching a surface that everybody touches, and get tighter on it in times like this. But all that said, I don't want to beat on that too much, because see my previous videos, I've talked about that a lot in my last video. Go watch it. And it tells you about keeping your immune system up, the hygiene, and other things that you can take, antivirals. They're all there. So this virus has also been reported to have 97 dead in one day. I think that was yesterday, the day or yesterday. That's a fair bit, but still, compared to the flu that we would get in the United States, you might get 10,000 dead from a regular flu. You could have millions and millions infected. Nobody thinks anything about it. Like I said, this is apparently worse. More people have died from this than SARS. But what's going on in China? They are really, really reacting. I mean, they're running up and down the streets with foggers. You might see in my thumbnail for this video, there's one of those foggers. They're huge, giant machines. They're just blasting something out, aerosol, to kill virus, apparently. At least that's what people are thinking. All through the cities. And you can see video of them just lined up side by side, going down these streets, spraying the stuff out. I mean, they're fogging these cities with something. What is it? Why is it? What are they doing? Why are they reacting? Why is everything in lockdown? Why is everybody in quarantine? Why so many people? Why are the factories shut down for something that has no more fatality than what they're claiming? Well, there's a couple of possibilities. There may be even more than a couple of possible. Of course, they could just be overreacting because they're fearful. Don't make a lot of sense. It could be that it's a lot worse than what they're telling us. Or it could be they got ulterior motives, my friends, ulterior motives. I'm just asking questions. Some people say, Greg, you're putting out fear and all that stuff. No, I'm not fearful. And I tell you not to be fearful. Just be prepared. Keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel. But it's still, I don't care what you think about this. And somebody, oh, it's not that bad. Okay, if it's not that bad, why is China reacting the way they're reacting? I mean, guys, that's a legitimate question. Any way you slice it or dice it. That's the question. What's the answer? Well, I don't know. But and I might entertain a little speculation, because there's a lot of fishy stuff going on around this. I mentioned that one researcher, Dr. Peng Zhao, who had been working on the bat coronavirus from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That was mighty suspicious. But more than that, apparently, there's been a lot of biological material stolen from Canada and attempts to steal biological materials from the United States. For one, there was this well, in China, there was a guy, Frank, what's his name? Frank Plummer. Dr. Frank Plummer just so happened to keep having a lot of his stuff coming up missing. And the day that border guards, not FBI, arrested a Chinese national trying to sneak materials out of the United States across the border between North Dakota and Manitoba, apparently, he had in the trunk of his car, in a glove, a whole bunch of vials stored there, and of biologicals. And it turns out that Dr. Plummer was working on vaccines for HIV and the coronavirus. And he actually got a SARS coronavirus from Saudi Arabia. All this stuff just come up missing. And the allegations you'll find on Zero Hedge is that this is the source of what they claim is bioweaponized coronavirus. Now, Zero Hedge has got a lot of interesting articles on it, and they've also been blackballed by a lot of people for the things they publish. But what's going on there? I mean, this is there seems to be a smoking trail. There's some tracks that are highly questionable. So if this thing, and I've said all along, and I still say, this could have been a natural evolved virus. A lot of people are saying, no, there's no way. But we do know that even if this is not one, there easily could have been one. And with the populations of the world being what they are today and all the people living in cities, this kind of thing is bound to crop up naturally in time. If this one isn't natural, we're going to get hit with some natural just because all the conditions are right. But this one seems to be strange. It seems to affect Asian males more. So if it's a case that this was, I said if this was a manufactured system, and did it sneak out of a lab accidentally? There's a good chance of that. I've cited Dr. Reese, I can't even think right now, who wrote Our Final Hour, Lord, now I'm having brain lock. Okay, so Martin Rees, Sir Martin Rees, excuse me, the Astronomer Royal of Great Britain. He talked about bioera and bioterra, and yeah, we've seen a lot of bioera in these labs consistently, and that makes me ask, why did we allow them? Why are they allowed to research the kind of agents they research? That's scary, and really, I don't, if you want to have a moon program, the best thing you can do on the moon outside of our biosphere is do those kind of things if you think they need to be done. Don't do it on this planet. Don't do it in our biosphere. So all that said, here's this question I'm getting. If this stuff really was manufactured, and why would China be researching something that's more, has more impact on Chinese people, or Asian people, I should say? Why would they do that in their own labs in their own country? That seems insane. But one thing David Devine pointed out in that interview he did last night on the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, go subscribe to Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Subscribe. Go watch that video, Dr. Paul Cuttrell's channel. Go subscribe to it, and they have a lot of good information out there. So do your homework, reach around, and look at all these places. Miracles happen, birth control. So, well, no, I think it's worse. What David Devine said is going on is they're going around and pulling people out of their houses, so-called suspects of the coronavirus. But it's not just any old people. Maybe they're using this as a cover because it just so happens that Wuhan was the site of the largest protest in China, anti-government protest. So it may well be that the dissidents are getting selected, because what's happening is, what's being claimed is it's the dissidents that are disappearing. And I hope I'll let David Devine explain this to you. I think he is a better source for saying this. He has lived in China. He just got back from Taipei. He's the man that should be telling this story, so I'm going to leave it to him. I hope he'll come on the channel. I hope we haven't missed that opportunity. Like I said, he did contact me this morning about it, but he's a real busy guy. He just got back in the country. His schedule is probably packed full. So if we don't hear from him, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Not too bad. He's a great guy. I think the world. He does a lot of good stuff on climate, which I touch on. And he also tells you to grow your own food. And he talks about food shortages and how critical that is, because it was cold weather crop losses of items he was trading in the East over there that brought his attention to this whole scenario of the grand solar minimum. And so he really started researching that, and the deeper he dug, the more he found, and he started a channel talking about these things. So it's quite interesting. But now think about this. All your communist countries tend to go through purges, especially when they first take power. Look at Pol Pot. He killed, what, a third of his people? In countries around the world, we have found in a lot of these totalitarian regimes, that's what they do. The Nazis, the communists, they all do that. And they've done it over and over again. Hitler, of course, took out 6 million Jews and God knows how many other people. And then we had Stalin killed about 60 million of his people, it's believed, and it's thought that Mao Zedong wiped out about 80 million Chinese. So holy smoke. In fact, it's claimed that in the 20th century, death by government, your own government, took far more people than all the wars, and the numbers are upwards in the range of 200 million people. And it's historically been the case that your biggest risk of your life hasn't been the robber, it's your government. That's why our founding fathers come up with the Second Amendment. That's what they told us and wrote. That is what Thomas Jefferson wrote. That's what he said. That's what he talked about. And, you know, these days that we tend to ignore that, and we assume that everything's going to be hunky-dory. And, oh, our government wouldn't do anything like that now, would it? I hope not. I'm not spreading conspiracy here. I'm just speculating. I'm saying I hope not. But I'm telling you why our founding fathers did what they did and why we should stay vigilant to protect our freedoms. All of our freedoms. And our freedoms are for everyone, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. It's strange now that people on the left, more left persuasions now think that freedom of speech is bad. You want tyranny? Shut down speech. Look what's happening in China. They're arresting reporters. Some of these people are disappearing. People, if you tell the truth over there, your life is at risk. That's what I'm hearing. That's what's being said. You're at risk of being arrested or just disappearing. Apparently, a lot of these people that were organizing a protest in Wuhan have just disappeared. Maybe their whole families. Reporters have disappeared or been arrested. Quite a few of them have been arrested. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you talk in that country, if you take pictures, you are putting yourself at grave risk. But a lot of people have felt it important enough over there to do those very things. And what I've always told you is there's a lot of really good people there in China. A lot. And I feel sorry for them. So on the 20th, we're going to have a 2-minute prayer session. And we're going to pray for those people in China. We're going to pray for peace, health, to be liberated from this viral, whatever it is, the coronavirus, more than anything. But also that these people may be able to determine their own faith, that they may have freedom again, freedom and liberty. Freedom is the most important blessing you can have. And for these people that suddenly think that freedom is bad, wow, wake up, people, wake up. Tyranny is far worse, and you have no idea what you're inviting in. So, all right. Well, I've said a lot on here. I hope I still have a channel after after tonight. I assume I will. I've talked and touched on a lot of topics. I've not made any declarative statements about these things other than to tell you how many people are infected. And, you know, a lot of this is speculation, and I tell you that. There is a lot of speculation out there and a lot that we don't know. And that's what I'm telling you. I'm not going to stand out here like a lot of channels and say, it's this, it's that, it's the other. Because it takes a lot of evidence to be able to say that. But holy smoke, there's a lot of smoking guns. There's a lot of smoke trails. There's a lot of tracks. They're all over the place, my friends. If you're in a place and you see a lot of tracks where a lot of rats have been running, it might be safe to bet there's rats here. That might be a safe bet. So it's a sad thing, very sad thing. Chance of getting this is high. That's not the hope. But the chance of surviving it is, you know, well, at least 99%, apparently. But, well, and that's if we're to trust the numbers. There's just so much that we don't know. But what I'm going to tell you is this. If you're living in fear and anxiety, your immune system is going to go down. Go laugh. Listen to these people frogs. You see why I feel so good? I got music. I'm being serenaded by Mother Nature. There is no band in the world that beats that. There's no music beats that. People frogs, katydids, crickets, birds. So even though I did my blowgun video, I'm showing you how you might kill a small bird. You won't see me doing that because I love songbirds and I wouldn't harm them in any way. You know, if it comes down to survival, I might hunt some small animals, but only for that purpose. So I'll show you how to do it. All right, so all that said, let me see what's going on here in the chat room here. Apologies for being so late to it. Oh yeah, in February, right, the 20th of February, I'm going to do a 2-minute prayer, and we'll do something on the 22nd also. I'll put out some more stuff on. I'm thinking 2 p.m. My frogs are still silent. Okay, maybe it's too cold there. But also, we've had a lot of rain. Do frogs make that sound in the middle of the winter? It is the middle of the winter. Listen. Hear them? Probably time to hit the 10 to 15. You might get real numbers. What? Probably time. I don't know what you're trying to say, Alicia Holmes. Probably time it is 10 or 15. I'm not following you there. Maybe you're talking to somebody else. Yeah, 02 20 2020. That's right. And 02 22 2020. Right, Souls Eye Jules. Exactly. That's what we're going to do. We've got a lot of praying to do. Much love, Greg, and everyone. Still praying for China and the world too. Thank you, Kristen. Yes, there's good people there. There's lots of good people there. Have tree frogs. They're cool. They sing, says Marilyn Green. Yeah. That's that. Oh, Mary Jane. I'm sorry. It's not Marilyn. It's harder. Osama number 5. The new normal. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Einstein's mom. Lots of hearts, peace, and coolness. There you go. Thank you. Let's see. Good evening from Charlton County, Alabama. Hey, I know where that is. Just southeast of Birmingham. Been there. Daniel Schultz, Confucius days. Confucius says, if it comes down to eating worms, stock up on sweet and sour sauce. Well, I do have plenty of protein here. Love your channel. Great job preparing people. Okay, thank you, Carletta Edwards. Remember, February 13th is early voting and your sovereign duty to vote. Yes, vote. To vote and vote red or be dead. Okay, I'm just reading the comments. So let's see. Virginia will check out Naughty Beaver's latest video. Okay, well, he did. And Desert Rose, 02 20 2020. Yes, Desert Rose. Hey, Desert, you're awesome. Desert Rose is awesome. And Saul's Eye, thumbs up, please. Yeah, thank you, Saul's Eye. Everybody, please give me a thumbs up in here. What we got here? We got 248 people in the room, and only 117. All right, now 118 thumbs up. All right, come on. Show me some love, guys. Let's see. I love Chinese food, but won't eat Chinese food again. Well, maybe not for a little bit, but, eventually you can go back. This will blow through, I hope. Reclusive Slob says, good evening, Mr. Worm Farmer. Me and my father started our own worm farm because of you. Well, thank you. Glad I can inspire you. Alicia Holmes, they're up between 130 and 160 infected on the cruise ship. Oh, okay. Okay, now I know what you're talking about, Alicia. Let's see. Keith Kirkland, love you, big guy, from Gadsden, Alabama. Hey, I just drove through Gadsden a couple weeks ago. Used to have a lot of family in that area. My brother used to work at Goodyear, building tires many years ago. He's retired from that for a long time, and he's a preacher. So let's see here. Christian Adams. Oh, hey, thanks for making me a mod, Greg. I just noticed. Just noticed? Yeah, if you got a wrench, you're a mod. There's a few other people I should probably make mods. Oh, there's my friend Nicole Parrish. She says, oh, didn't know that many were infected on the cruise ship. 130. Wow. Yeah, well, so I'm telling you, the R0 is high. My sis calls tree frogs her white noise. Kristen, let's see what you got there. It looks like, I can't tell what all your symbols are. I see a heart. Looks like you're saying something to Desert Rose, I guess. I see the cactus and the heart. All right, very good. Rose and the heart. All right, Marianne, green hearts. Good, good. Mary Jane, that is. Mary Jane Green. Well, green hearts for Green Gregs. Thank you. Now, let me scroll down here. Let's see. Thumbs up, everybody. Yeah, give me some thumbs up. We've only got 140 right now. Bok choy. That's actually good food, bok choy. I like Chinese food. I like Chinese vegetables. Blue thumbs up and share like crazy, y'all. And yummy, says Susan Kelly. I guess bok choy. Look up David Abell Facebook page for cruise ship line info. Yeah, I saw some video out there on that cruise ship. Okay, yeah, you like my band, huh, Judy? Howdy, says Jefferson. Black Creek, Wisconsin here. Keto for life. Amen, amen. Keto, that's a good way to go for losing weight. All right. I see chat says 231 in here. I got 236. We got 153 likes. The likes are starting to come up. So, any idea how many real cases there are in the U.S.? I think last reported was 12, but that's official cases. Now, look, guys. Oh, dropping my phone here. If there are 100, hope my battery don't run out on me because I don't see my charge level. If there are 12 reported cases and the incubation period is 24 days and it stays live on surfaces for 9 days, this number could be huge. We don't know how many real cases there are just walking around that's still in incubation. JR, new to your channel here. Subscribe. Well, thank you, JR. Share. Kristen Adams, LOL, Greg. We're discussing the Beatles in my bell box. Are you talking about Beetle bugs or the band Beatles? If it gets in the homeless population in big cities, we'll have a problem. Well, they took that flight into, guess what? That first flight back went to San Francisco. We got a lot of homeless who are allowed to do everything in the street. Not good. All right, so you're going to show us your blow dart gun? Hey, I've already shot the video. And I did both the smaller 40 caliber barrel blowguns like you saw in my bug out bag video or my extra travel bug out bag video. And I got a brand new large bore one, which I'm just starting to get the knack for. And I hadn't practiced with them for a while, so you'll be seeing me trying to come back up to speed on these things. But you can come up to speed on them real fast. And you see me just shoot a few darts and the first time missing, but you can see me, I'm starting to track in. So that's one good thing about a blowgun, at least for me. I can adapt real fast and start getting better. I used to have a small little target about the size of a bird I'd put off at some distance, and I could nail that pretty consistently once I'd practiced for about an hour. And I didn't spend an hour on it Saturday when I shot the video because I had worms to process. So I tried to do a quick little thing and get back to my worm running job. Yeah, let's see. Thank you, Greg and Desert Road, says Joe. Well, thank you. Can you eat worms, says Patricia List. These red worms are actually said to have a nutty flavor, and there's recipes for them for making cookies and brownies. Use them as a nut substitute. They're very high in protein. They're extremely low in fat. I mean, when you look at all that, they come out way ahead of beef and other protein sources. If you can stand it, let's see. And special forces are required to eat worms, right? So Einstein's mom says it. Green Gregs, thanks for reading chat and your time. We appreciate you. And Desert Rose says, Patricia, Greg has videos on that. I got videos on a lot of stuff. I got over 150 videos. They don't all show my playlist. And like the worm videos, I filled the playlist up sometime back because it won't take anymore. So if you want to see all my videos, go to the top of my channel where it says videos and click that button, and a whole bunch of stuff will come up, and you can scroll down. You may have to click more a few times to see them all. So one of the big consequences of all this stuff going on is our supply chain is getting disrupted. Because a lot of the parts, look at all the stuff we get from China, so much manufactured stuff is coming out of China that it is insane. And even when we build things, the stuff we build here has a lot of parts that come from China. And even if we make something 100% from America, the tools we're using to make it, a lot of that has stuff that's coming from China. So, we're at a high risk for this. But the biggest risk to our supply chain is that 97% of our antibiotics come from China. And there's something like over 80% of the content of all of our drugs come from China. So with the disruption of the Chinese supply chain, we could be in serious shape here, medically speaking. It's not really good to put all your eggs in one basket. What I do in my day job is I'm a system safety engineer for avionics on a really big rocket. So one of our key things that we live by for systems that can be redundant is to make them redundant for safety purposes. If you got a critical system, you want at least 2, maybe 3 of them, depending on how long the system is going to run. On the International Space Station, the requirement is for 3 independent running legs to have. You want fail out, fail safe, and that's the order of precedence. For our rocket, because the weight is so important and the mission time is on the order of 8 minutes to launch. We have 2 failure tolerance. 1 failure tolerance, excuse me, which is 2 systems. So, but when it comes to our critical things in our everyday life and our society, we don't have that. We don't have the failure tolerance. We don't have the robustness. I did a video on that some time back, talking about how fragile our society is. You need to go back through and look at that. I'm holding a pencil in that video, which I cite a little story called I Pencil, written back in the 1950s, talking about how many people and all the infrastructure and knowledge that it takes to make a little number 2 pencil. Holy smoke, today with all the computerization and all the networks, international shipment, that's probably blown up 1,000,000 times. So, yeah, you need to see that, because you can't even imagine how fragile our society is. So look at this. What happens with our power grid? I talk about power grid defense. What happens when we're not getting the parts, or if we have this virus here, and a lot of key maintenance people don't show up to work? Maybe they're sick, or maybe they're scared to come to work. What happens when systems aren't adequately monitored, when the large transformers start getting overthrown? You have cascading failures, and you burn a lot of them out. These things take up to 18 months to replace. If you get large cascading failures, and if you could have a multi-year power outage. And that's estimated by the congressional mandated EMP task force. They figured that would take out 90% of our people. And they weren't even accounting for a lot of things, like most people don't grow their own food anymore. They weren't accounting for what happens at the spent fuel rod pools at the nuclear power plants. There's a lot of stuff they didn't take into account with that. So that may be very optimistic. So we need to make our society more resilient. We need to make our society more robust. We need to think about these things in a strategic, robust manner. How do we keep our society safe as a society? Now, Mike Mabey, who's going to be on this channel on Wednesday, I probably will show it on Thursday in terms of posting. I don't think I'll do that live. Mike Mabey wrote the book Civil Defense. He talks about how to do this at the community level, at the city level, civil defense, prepping at a large scale, large group level. And he explains why that's important, why that's critical, why the individual prepper is at grave risk, and which I talk about. And that's why I say we need tribes and communities. So it very much fits within the context of what Mike Mabey talks about. But Mike Mabey also has just recently been filing Freedom of Information Acts to try to get transparency in the electrical industry, because they're having a lot of reliability failures and problems. And he's got a new initiative out that we're going to talk about. So I'll leave that for Mike to discuss, and I hope I get David Devine on the program here. But I'm going to be doing more and more guest interviews coming up, particularly in the power grid defense area and other areas as they avail themselves. I did interviews of the Gervais family. That was my first interview of someone else on this channel. And I love those people. I think that family is an awesome family, because they show you what it takes to be content, what it takes to be happy. And it's not money, it's being able to be satisfied with what you have, and how they grow enough food on 1/10 of an acre to feed themselves, a family of adults. Was 4, but the father passed away, now 3. And they sell and make a living off 1/10 of an acre in their backyard. And the city of Los Angeles, really Pasadena, California, which is part of greater Los Angeles. I mean, what they accomplished just is awesome. I mean, when I go visit these people, it's like, going to a revival meeting. These people are just so awesome that I really admire them. I admire them, and I think the world of them. They are awesome people, good people. All right, so I've hammered on this enough here. Let's see, we were at 39, almost 40 minutes. I just want to let y'all know that this virus is out there. Here's the facts. Everybody says, Greg, you're just spreading, unsubstantiated stuff. I've heard that's one thing. So look, I'm just asking questions, conjecture. Here are the facts. There is a virus. It's called the coronavirus, nCoV 2019. It appears to be far more infective than the regular flu. perhaps far more than the Spanish flu. The consequences is it seems to be deadlier than the normal flu. Mind you, the normal flu takes like 1 out of 1,000 people. So it's not, a lot of people die from it, 1,000 people, but it infects millions. That's why. If this thing gets out and infects millions, and if it has a CFR mortality rate of 1%, as some data seems to indicate, then it's going to swamp the hospitals. If 3% of the people are critically ill, which is the lower end, according to the Chinese study, 3 to 5%, it's going to overload the hospitals. We won't be able to handle it. If our country reacts like they've reacted in China and start quarantining everything, holy smoke, you better be prepared. You better have your food. And you might want to self-quarantine anyway, because we really still don't know all the things about this virus. All we know is what we're being told, and we're hearing a lot of rumors. But the reaction of what's going on in China is off the charts, way and above what should be called for, according to the kind of numbers they're reporting. That's a fact. They have a lot of people quarantined. That's a fact. They're keeping people off the streets. That's a fact. They're doing it for something they claim is just over 40,000 cases. And if it's only killed 1,000 people, excuse me, in a country, 1.3 billion people, come on. That is off the charts. The reaction, now maybe it's did a lot more and they're not telling us. So, and there may be little bits and pieces of truth in all these things I've suggested. I don't know. I said maybe. That's the speculation. The facts is the NCOV 2019 is out. It's spreading. It's here. We got 12 cases we know of in the United States. There's like 8 in the United Kingdom. There's quite a few in Australia. It was 15 last time I looked. There's 24 Americans on a cruise ship that are infected with it. There is, somebody here says 400 million, Patricia Lewis. Wow. Well, maybe to have the kind of fatality rates you're talking about, it could be. You hear different numbers all over the place, and there's all these reports of people that are exiled from China telling us things like there's a billionaire, an exiled billionaire from China, who's claiming that there's like 40,000 deaths. He's claiming that huge numbers, just huge numbers. And there's other people claiming these things. There's supposedly doctors and people that broke away making big claims. I can't substantiate them, but and a lot of this stuff can be, rumors. It could be people are fanning the flames. There could be conspiracy stuff going around, theories and other things, and people are promoting various and sundry agendas. That's all possible. But the reaction of China still seems off the charts no matter what you do or say. And it seems that they're taking advantage of this for their own political purposes. And that's what's scary. I mean, think about it. If you were China today, who's now suddenly needing, because it trades the whole world, to have good opinion and standing with certain other countries they're trying to impress and win over, they need cover to pull the tricks that Mao pulled. They can't just go out and kill 80 million people for some, economic purity program, whatever they want to come up with. So they need the cover of something else to accomplish those kind of things if they decide to do it. So maybe this is the cover for it. And I'm saying maybe. It's all speculation. But it seems to fit with the kind of reports I'm hearing. So we'll let David Devine address this. I think he's the best guy to talk about because David's lived there. He's a lot more connected to it. And so I'd rather hear it from him. But we'll let him speak for himself and say whatever he will say. And we'll see where the chips fall. I'm just telling you that the number one fact that don't make sense is the Chinese reaction given the numbers they report. That don't seem to make sense. Now, except for the following. There is one exception that, if in true fact, maybe it does to a sense, okay? If you have an effectivity, R0 greater than 4 or thereabouts, the only way to stop it is to shut everything down. That's the only way to stop it. You really do. You have to prevent it from spreading. That's how you get the R0 down, is you stop contact between people. I don't know if we can do that in the West, but some people lauding them for doing that. But the way they're doing it pulling people out of their houses or chaining them in their houses, that's really draconian. The fact that people are, comment moon, hi, the way that people are, the things they're reporting, how people are disappearing for reporting things, holy smoke. I don't know. It still don't make a lot of sense. So it don't add up. And that's why I titled this the Chinese Corona Crackdown. Yeah, Corona's a crown. So it's not really a crown. I was just cutting short, using short language to get it all in a short title. So sometimes I'll abbreviate and cut things off. I mean coronavirus. I'm assuming everybody knows. I'm not talking about a crown on your head, you know. All right, here. No bats in my region. You know, that's not good. Bats eat bugs, but there's a white-nosed disease going to wipe a lot of rats out. Bats. I wish it would wipe out rats instead. Kristen Adams, much love and thanks, Greg, and everyone. God love you all. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Let's see. Green Greg's Gans water prevent spread of the virus. Gans water. Look into it. I don't know what Gans water is. You know, one of the rumors that I've heard. Hey, Scratch. At CF, the rain is falling where you are. Yeah, we've been just drowned by rain. Hey, Mike, be careful what you say, man. This is a family type channel here. So don't use F words here, please, people. You didn't actually use it, but you're getting dangerously close there. Much love to everyone and stay safe, please. We are family. Yes, Desert, absolutely. We are family. Scratch, missed you, said Kristen Adams. Yeah, I love it when you people talk to each other on here. It's great. Hillary, 333. Oh, is that what? No, I don't have that many people in right now. All right, so vacay. I wish I had a vacay. Scratch says, hey, GG, me old fruit. All right. So, all right. Does anyone here know about Gans water? Kershey Foundation One Cup of Life video. I've not heard of that yet, so that's interesting. Everybody loves Scratch, apparently so. All right, Scratch. Let's see. Always welcome, Kristen, says Scratch. All right. Oh, good. Well, okay. I think I've beat on this horse enough. There's a lot more that could be said, but there's so much that's already covered on other channels, and I unfortunately did repeat some stuff here that you probably have heard. Maybe you didn't. I just tried to weave it in context of these other things. Stephen J. and Greg. Hey, thank you, Stephen. Oh, that's not Stephen. That's Step. What was that? Stefferts. Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't pronounce that right. Jefferson, good night, Green Gregs and all. Alrighty, so we went on 48 minutes. I believe that's long enough. I really appreciate everybody. Please share this, because we're trying to get word out that all is not well. There's something fishy, and we got to keep our eyes wide open and head on a swivel so that we can all be aware. And that's the way to prepare. Don't be scared. Be prepared. And the aim of this channel is to help you all survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. And we're going to do that. We're going to survive. We're going to get through this. And I've also decided I'm going to add, we're going to continue some of these prayer sessions. I got more prepping videos. There'll be more worm videos. I also shot some video of an improvement to my sled bed worm bed. And I'll do a video soon about my final solution on my press, my peat moss press. And there's going to be a lot more of that kind of stuff. All the stuff that I've done, I'm going to continue to do. Hopefully get more interviews in here. And hopefully, I've got that coming. We'll do more interviews and other things like that. And I'm going to do a new topic. Well, it's not really new. I did a video talking about our nation's disintegration. I was talking about how it's hard to get hired help these days, how the younger generation seems to be falling apart. And I did a video called Tough Love, where I kind of spanked the parents for letting me get there, so I didn't just pick on the kids alone. I'm going to go back and appeal to these young people, the young adults. And I'm going to talk a little bit of morality in some of my videos and things like that. So I think these will be videos that will appeal to a lot of people, because I'm trying to bring back a lost generation in these videos. I'm going to touch on some topics. And if we can save just a few souls, if we can get a few people back on the pathway to being productive, then that's a big accomplishment. So, all right, at Green Greg's, please look into Gans water. All right, I'll have to look that up. All right. Scratch says we like GG videos. Yeah, so this started out to be an urban farming channel. And then it was expanded into prepping because people found out I did 2 power grid defense conferences. So it's kind of a mix. We got the prepping, we got the power grid defense. We talk about community. We're having prayer sessions. We're trying to change the world. It's like Rex, is often saying, and it's an old quote from somewhere back, be the change, maybe from Ghana. Be the change you want to see. That's what we're advocating here, to be change agents for a positive world. That hopefully we can stop these trains coming at us, slow them down, and make this world a better place. And if that don't happen, we're going to shake off the dust and emerge on the other side of whatever hits the fan to be a stronger, better community than there ever was before. Some of our friends and some of the channels, like what's his name? David, another David. I can't think of his name right off. Suspicious Observers channel, and Diamond talk about these reoccurrent micronovas and things like that. If that's the case, then maybe that's a test to humanity. Maybe we get hit by something every 12,000 years, and the test is for us to get smart enough and resilient enough to prepare and emerge on the other side strong. Maybe that's how society survives, and maybe the people that went before us just weren't up to that. So let's change that. Let's get better. Let's figure out how to get through all these things and have a better world on the other side. That's what we're here for, my friends. To have a better world. It's to survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. All my life, I've felt like I've had this mission of saving the world. I used to think it was through space advocacy. And then I thought, oh, the world needs help a lot sooner, so I got into prepping. So now I'm sharing it all with you guys. And so we'll find a way to get through this and be stronger, better on the other side. But stay strong, stay positive, keep your spirits up. You don't want your immune system collapsing because you're fretting. Don't be scared. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Don't panic. Stay strong. I hope everybody gets a good night's sleep. I got to go enter numbers. Ben Davison. Yes, Ben Davison. Was that? Yeah, I said David. I knew there was a David in there somewhere. Sometimes I get brain locked, my friends. My bad. Hey. Song from 10 years after 1971. I'm old. I love your channel. 1971. That wasn't that long ago. Wash your hands. Yes. Hygiene. Crickets and peepers. Yes. All peepers tonight, my friends. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome night. Get some good sleep. I got to go enter tracking numbers for worms I shipped this morning. Everyone, have an awesome night. Bye-bye.